writing and I haven't been waiting for a response. I've actually been waiting for validation, you know? I've been waiting for somebody to say, you know, you've got great writing capability, what you've got to offer is brilliant, you matter, your story matters, your journey matters, these other women's stories who were within this book, their stories matter.
So what I started to do, I started to just like buy and sell domain names when the internet was like literally you had to plug it into your wall. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's so easy because you're chasing this dream and this vision that you have, and to feel as though you need to be working all hours of the day. And yes, there are some days where you need to push yourself that little bit harder, but you really need, if you haven't got your health and your well-being, you haven't got any business.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of She's the Boss Female Entrepreneur Stories, where I'm joined by phenomenal women from the world of business and entrepreneurship. As usual, if you haven't already clicked that subscribe or follow button to make sure you're the first to know when I release a new interview, then please make sure you do that now. And if you're not already following me on social media, please make sure that you connect. I am She's the Boss at INTL on both Instagram and Twitter. And I'm also on LinkedIn as Daniela Genus. And on Facebook, Daniela Genus, She's the Boss. So look me up. Today, I'm excited because I'm joined by Fathiya Fousseni, who is the founder of She Wins Mastermind. And I was on the She Wins podcast a couple of months ago. So it's really good to be on the other side. Fathiya, you interviewed me, now I'm interviewing you. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting and I can't wait to dive into it.
Yeah, well, let's dive right on in. Tell us more about She Wins Mastermind. So what is it that you do with the organization?
So basically, I have been in business for 5 years and I try different stuff. And to be honest, She Wins Mastermind was inspired by my first year in business. Within my first year in business, I struggled a lot. I was trying to find my way, trying to find things that work for my business, things that don't work for my business. And it was a proper struggle. I went through a little bit of depression as well. There was so much going on. And I feel like a lot of people go through the same thing because they don't know what to do when they're starting up. And that was the same situation I was in. So I thought about that moment in my life when I was getting started and I wanted to succeed so bad, but I just didn't know how. So She Wins platform helps people that are starting up, but also helps people that are starting up to get the right support, the connection, the strategies, and the systems that you need in order to succeed. So it's a platform, it's an educational platform that empowers women to start online businesses.
Mm-hmm. So tell us more. So it wasn't your first business. What were you doing before that?
So basically, my first business I started with network marketing. So that was my first thing. And then I moved into consultancy. Mm-hmm. So from network marketing, I did network marketing for like 5 months, and then I moved into consultancy. And I actually had big trust issues in the network marketing industry. And that's why I decided to fly on my own, because I felt like I was the only person I could actually trust. So I decided to start my own consultancy business. And it was a wow, because I started, like, network marketing gave me the foundation, the personal development, and, you know, the skills, because I was able to practice, I was able to learn. But then actually I felt like I need to do something more for myself, and I don't want to be dependent on other people. So I started my consultancy business, and that was my first business. I used to do cryptocurrency consultancy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I used to be very passionate about cryptocurrency. So I was like, let me just dive into it. So it was like a great experience, because I was like, I didn't know how much you should charge for consultancy at the time. I was starting up. So I was just like, I'm going to charge £80 an hour. And it actually worked. And I was like, oh my God, so there's so much potential and we just don't know. And sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. So I started with cryptocurrency. Then I obviously opened my e-commerce shop. Mm-hmm. So after consultancy, I was still doing consultancy while I opened my e-commerce shop. Then after my e-commerce shop, I went into I created what is Influence now. At the time, it wasn't Influence. So it's a social media influencer network and a creative marketing agency where we provide companies with, you know, creative solutions to market themselves and stand out on the market. So then I came out with that. And then obviously I met my husband, and he's a developer. And I was inspired. I always liked doing websites. So I was inspired to do something, something more, on the web development side. And that's why I started Taptic as well. So we create web development software and, we do all the back end of websites and stuff like that.
So a lot then.
I'm kind of multi-passionate, so I'm always like looking what's next, what can I do next. But Chinwe's Mastermind is like my number one love right now, as obviously it's very attached to my personal journey. So I really want to be there for people who are starting up today, so they don't go through all the struggle that I went through.
So cryptocurrency, tell us more about that, because I hear the term bandied around, but if I'm honest, I have no clue what it is. Or tell me more. What is it? How did you get into that specifically?
Yeah, cryptocurrency is basically digital currency. We're talking about things like Bitcoin and all those money of the future kind of stuff that we're talking about. I was really intrigued by the concept. When I came across it, obviously I didn't know what it was. But then obviously educating myself, I understand that this could be a big potential for my future. If I learn how to invest in the right way into cryptocurrency, I could create a good portfolio for my future. So obviously I was very into it. I was very excited about the whole thing. So I decided to literally do research on each cryptocurrency and what was the best one to get into. So obviously I got myself Bitcoins, because obviously Bitcoins is big out there, but I also got myself Ripple coins, and that's the Google coin. And I got myself other little coins that I thought they had potential. And I remember when I went into consultancy, that was the time I got myself Ripple coins. And I was kind of promoting this coin. I was just you have to get Ripple coin. And I remember I got a Ripple coin for 20 cents, 20p. Here in UK. And what happened is that after a week, that coin went to £1.30. And I was wow. And it's just 20p. You just need to think about buy something, just buy £100 of a Ripple coin, you would have made more than triple the amount. You understand? So it was that was a good push for my career in that sense, because obviously I recommended a lot of people to buy Ripple coin. And I didn't even realize when Ripple coin went up. One of my clients called me and said, Ripple coin is now $1.30. And I was wow. But I was I knew it. I kind of studied, and I'm very hungry for knowledge. I love learning. And the fact that I studied and I knew that was going to happen kind of thing, obviously it's not 100% confirmed because the industry is very volatile and all this time. I don't like to be 100% guaranteed, but I kind of felt it and I knew it, based on what I obviously studied, that it was going to go up and it has potential. So that was a good push in the right way for my career. But then I realized that after some time, I think after a year, I wasn't passionate about it anymore, kind of thing. And I said that this is probably not what I want to do for the rest of my life, you understand? Sometimes you ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? How do I want to make my money? And when I asked myself those questions, cryptocurrency wasn't the way. Yeah, I still invest in cryptocurrency as obviously a side way, as an extra income, another stream of income to make money on the side. But it's definitely not the way, and it's not the way I see myself. It's not what I want people to know me for.
That's a really interesting question, actually. What do you want to be known for? And I don't think people ask themselves that question enough.
Yeah.
When I do something called a Vision 20 process with a lot of the clients that I work with, and that's one of the questions that I ask: what do you want to be known for?
Yeah.
What your reputation to be. So I love that you asked that question of yourself.
Yeah.
So tell us more about your beginnings. So you clearly are quite a passionate individual and you like working on lots of different things. Where did that seed get planted, and what was your kind of early life experiences and how they contributed to what you're doing right now?
So basically, I was born and grew in Italy. So from Italy, when I was 19, 20, my parents moved to London. And so I decided to move to London as well. So I've been in London literally 6 years. So when I came to London, I came with a very open mind, I came and I was obviously I'm going to find myself a job. And I never had a job before that. Like my parents always took care of me, never had a job. And I was like, oh, first of all, I want to get a job. And obviously I'm always open to new opportunities. I'm in a new place and I want to see, like, I want to do something new, obviously. Because in London, in Italy, we're quiet, like, it's so quiet, nothing is happening. And I came to London and there's so many people and you're crossing the road with so many people. And I was like, yeah, I want to do something new here. So that's obviously, because I had this open mind, I was like so open to whatever was coming to me. And my first job was with a charity. So I was working as a fundraiser with a charity. And while I was working, I was like one of those annoying people that you see now in the street and they keep coming to you. So I was one of those. And on the street, I met this guy called Robert. And he was like, I love your vibe and what you do. And you know what it is? I want to invite you to this event. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And he was like, are you going to come? If you're going to come, I'm going to sign up and, give money to this charity. And I was like, sure, I'm going to come. Like, why are you asking me? Like, why are you asking me multiple times? I said, I'm going to come. So he said, okay, I'm going to give you my contact. And obviously he gave me the contact. And he sent me an invitation saying, obviously, dress nice. It's going to be a 5-star hotel and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went to that event. And there were so many people, like so many. I can't, but you know what it is? I was always looking for that something more, like that extra something, but I didn't know what it was. Once I got to that place, I actually realized that that was all I wanted. Like I kind of find myself in the right place. And everyone was so positive. Obviously, they were dressed like they all made like 1 million and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, like definitely this is the place I want to be. Then what happens is that the presentation starts. And when they talk about investing £500, I got like a little bit depressed because I was like, I don't have £500. For real, I don't have £500. So from that point that they say invest £500, I didn't even listen to the presentation. Literally, I was like, I don't have it. Like that was my mindset. I don't have it. I don't know how I'm gonna get it. I don't know. Like I can't do this. So when presentation finishes, Robert comes to me and say, "Do you see? It's amazing, isn't it?" And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. But then I was like, I don't have the money. I don't have the money to get started. And he was like, we're gonna find a solution to that. And I was like, okay, but I don't see a solution. Like my mindset was like, literally, I don't see a solution. And then after we spoke about it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna save. So literally, I started saving. So I started saving. After 3 months, I had the money to get started. Then I went to him. And obviously, I wasn't really working with him anymore. I was working with someone else that I find like I could resonate more with. And he was like kind of my mentor, and he was like motivating me a lot. He was like, Fathiya, I believe in you and all this stuff. He was like very there for me. So I go to him and I tell him, I have the money now. I can start like seriously. I'm ready to get started. And then he tells me I'm moving into a different company. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this without you. Like that was the mindset that I had at the time. Like I need help. Like I needed that support. I was like a baby that needed to be like transported like through the whole journey. And I was like, I can't do this without you. Like if you're going somewhere, I'm coming. I have the money now. I can get started anywhere. So so I met him like in Stratford, literally Westfield, and he showed me this video. And he showed me this video, and it was about cryptocurrency. Like it was a little video. I didn't understand it, but my mindset was like, I need to do something. I want to do something. I want to be in the same room I was before, and I felt so good. So I was so motivated by that. I was like, you know what it is? Get me the first package. That's £500. I have it. Let's go into it. So that's what happened. That's how I got into it. Obviously, I love the company. I love the concept of cryptocurrency. I educated myself, and then obviously I got into consultancy. So that's what happened.
So, interesting. What was your experience and what lessons did you learn growing up in Italy? Because I always say that I think your upbringing and how you're raised really has an impact on how you do business. So for me, I was raised in the UK, but my family are of Jamaican background, and there's certain things that I've picked up from both the British experience and also the Jamaican experience that really informs how I operate and how I do business today. What would you say? What would you say are some of the key things that you picked up being raised in Italy? Number one, and number two, did you demonstrate or show any entrepreneurial flair growing up in your younger days, or is it something that you kind of just came to when you came to it?
So basically, I was very creative. I was very creative. I love painting. I love drawing and all this stuff. So I've always been very creative. But I was also the bigger sister of like six. My mom is from Ghana and my dad is from Benin. So being the oldest, I've always had this feeling that I can't ask for anything. I definitely can't, because look, there are the small ones here. They should be the one getting the stuff. They should be the one asking for stuff. So I always had this thing, I can't ask for anything because obviously I'm the oldest. I should be like wise and mature, and I should leave the other stuff for the kids. So always growing with this mindset, I was always trying to find a way to make money online. I used to be 15 and I used to Google how to make money online. And I used to like literally take that little money that my dad used to give me and trade online. Listen, I used to trade online with those platforms, because when you go online, that's where you find trading, playing poker and all those stuff. I literally went through everything you could find. And obviously majority of them were scams, but obviously, it was worth the try. So obviously I was trying, but I never actually thought about having my own business. No, never happened. I didn't even imagine it for the future. I was thinking, I'm gonna be somewhere, like maybe I'm gonna be a fashion designer, or I'm gonna be something in the creative industry. But I never thought I was gonna have a business, to be honest. And I'll say that definitely was one thing that kept me, that's how can I say, that's impacting the way I do business right now. The self-talk that I had, I can't ask for anything. Even when I came in business, when I started my business, I still felt like I can't ask anyone for anything. I can't count on anyone. So that feeling was always there. So I literally had to shift my mindset into, when you need something, you ask. When you need help, you ask.
Yeah, I can imagine that must have been a really hard thing to shift, because it was embedded in the nature, in how you were raised and how you've grown. But in business, and I always say this, it is so important to ask for help, because no man is an island, as they say, and you can go. There's that saying, and I'm always saying these sayings, and I always say them wrong. If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go with other people, or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really important that you recognise that the importance of asking for help. And actually, not everybody's going to help you. Yeah. Not everybody's going to say yes, and not everybody has the skills, the tools, the knowledge, or the time to be able to give you the help that you need. However, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't ask, because
definitely,
if you ask 10 people, half of them might be able to help. So I think that's really important.
And I think that was the reason why I actually struggled in my first year, because I couldn't ask for any help. I was like, I need to know it all. I need to be able to do it all. So it was a lot of work, let's say, to shift into that I need help kind of mode.
So let's come back to kind of the here and the now. Your She Wins Mastermind, you have quite a strong community that you've built. Tell us a little bit more about how you've done that and how you foster the relationships that you have in the way that you have.
Yeah. So just to start off, everything started with obviously me coming to London and me being open to new opportunities, as I said before. So when I came to London, I always been a fan of Instagram as a creative and all that stuff. Instagram was my go-to. I love pictures and stuff. So it was my go-to. So what I started doing is that I was talking about my daily life, like constantly obsession kind of thing. I told people about my first job, like going, like literally taking the train to my first job and all this stuff. So without even realizing, I reached 5,000 followers on my personal Instagram. And obviously, when I reached 5,000 followers, a company contacted me and they made like personalized necklaces. And they were like, we're gonna pay you to take a picture with the necklace. And they were gonna pay me £50. And no, for me, it was like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. It was like different time, different mindset. It was like, that's a lot of money. And then I got like literally very serious about like this community building stuff. And I was like, how am I gonna build a bigger community? What do you do to build a bigger community? Then I reflected on what I did. And what I did was taking people with me through my journey. So people shared my journey. So a lot of people that follow me on Instagram today, they know me till like from the first day I went to work. So I realized that that's the way to grow like a business as well. So obviously, people who know you in your day-to-day life and they connect with you or they relate with you in any kind of way, they are more open to you. They trust you more. They are more loyal to you. So I focused very much on this point, on building that community. How can I build a bigger community? And then once I got to that 10,000 followers, I was like, what can I do now with this community? And that's when I started my e-commerce shop. And my first week with my e-commerce shop, I literally made £10,000. And that was from people supporting me. And that's how I realized, oh my God, so actually this is for a reason. Like you can do something with these people. Like these people are following you for a reason and they will buy from you because they trust you, because they know your journey. So I really got very passionate about it. And I really understand that there is no business without a community. And that's what I focus on. Even the work I do right now, it's about like putting those things together hand in hand. And even with the She Wins Mastermind, we started literally, I'm talking about a project that started 5 months ago, a podcast that started 3 months ago. So, and I can see 3,000 people on Instagram with the She Wins Mastermind page, but they are all involved. They are so involved and so focused. And also that's how you understand that you don't need so many followers to build a profitable business. You just need to focus on what you have. And the more we focus on what we have, the more we grow even without realizing it.
Yeah,
and it's so important as a business to recognize that you need a community around your business.
Yeah, I think that's such useful information, because I think there's been this kind of a lot of talk on social media about people buying followers and doing all of those things, and actually it's pointless if they're not engaged, and if they don't, those followers are not part of a community. You can't commercialize that following at all. Whereas if you build a community that really relates to you and relates to your business and what you're doing, then it's more likely that you're going to be able to generate a return from it. I think I love the fact that you just started documenting your life without the end in mind, but it actually worked out and it's contributed to the business. I think that's a really powerful story. What would you say has been kind of the highlight of your entrepreneurial journey so far? What's the thing that you can look back at and say, yeah, that was an amazing experience, stroke opportunity? Obviously, you mentioned the fact of getting paid for the necklace. I'd say that's a high. But are there any other key moments that and it doesn't have to be anything really super dramatic. It could be just waking up and realizing today I can do what I want to do. What is the kind of key highs that you can think of?
I'll say it's a low that led to a high. That's what I want to talk about. So basically, within my journey, obviously my first year I was really struggling, so I decided to go back to a job. Mm-hmm. The first day I went back to that job, I was like, this is the reason why I don't want to be in a job. And that's when my mindset changed. Literally, my mindset was like, no, I have more potential. I can be more than this. Why am I like limiting myself here? And that's when everything started to change, because I was like, I never want to be back there. I never want to like go back there, because I didn't know how bad it was until I went to the other side. You understand? So I was like, I never want to go back there. So that was a high for me, because it was like when my mindset really, when I had that mindset shift, I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be. It doesn't matter if I'm not making the money I want. It doesn't matter whatever struggle I was having at the moment. What mattered is that I know where I didn't want to be anymore. Like, I know that I could be more. I know I could become more. And I knew that I was in the right place. And that was very important for me. I was in the right place.
Again, such a powerful message, because it's true. Sometimes we focus on the money, But actually, if you're not in the right place and if your mindset is not in the right place, the money is futile, it's pointless. And
Yeah,
you know, I love that you work that. How long did you stay in the job before you left?
a week. I was saying every day, no, I can't stay here, no, I can't stay, and then I left. Because you know what it is? I think that's the moment I actually found my purpose. That's what happened. I find like literally what I was in this world, in this life to do, you know, like what I really wanted to do. I thought actually.
And this point about purpose, I think, is so important. And if you are able to discover and find that purpose early on, it can really guide what you're doing and where you're going. And I suppose for you, you've done so many different things, but the purpose of your life is to, I suppose, fulfill your entrepreneurial kind of leanings through whatever means or methods that may manifest. Did you, in terms of spending time trying to really articulate and craft your why and your purpose and reason for being, was it a conscious decision or was it just a circumstantial, I've gone into this job, I don't like it, clearly I'm supposed to be in business? Did you ponder on it much after that point?
So basically, being in network marketing, you're always asked to write down your why. What's the reason why? But I never knew, like I used to write, maybe I want to make money so I can support my parents, I can have a better future, you know, those basic stuff. Yeah. But then I always try to think about it like deeply, because a lot of people were coming with this deep reason why, and I'm like, I don't know my reason why, to be honest. Like that was how it was. So I was like, so when I went back to the job and came out of it, I was like, yeah, now I know what I want to do. And what I want to do is to serve others. I want, and that's where obviously I already had this thing. I want to help people not go through what I went through. Yeah. I already had that thing going on, but I didn't know how again. So the how was a big thing for me, like during all my entrepreneurship journey. I was always trying to find, how can I do this? How can I do this? So after that, I came out with a platform similar to the She Wins Mastermind, but I didn't go deeper into it. I think it wasn't ready yet. Yeah. I wasn't ready for that platform. So it actually didn't really do good. So I think right now, obviously after years, after different things, I feel like She Wins is like the best platform out there. And it's something that I wish I had when I started. So literally the way we're designing it is like the platform that I wish I had when I started my journey. Everything would have been definitely easier.
It's interesting because as you're saying it, I kind of had a light bulb moment for myself, because of the 3 businesses that I've run, all of them have been born out of a desire to provide something that I had wanted and didn't have. So, and I don't think I've ever thought about it like that, because I always said I just want to help people, but actually it's not just people, it's people that were in the same situation as me. So my first business was youth event management and youth training, because I wanted to provide opportunities for young people from inner city backgrounds, because that's where I came from. My second business was a wedding business, because for cross-cultural marriages, because I had a cross-cultural marriage and couldn't find anyone to help me plan it in a cross-cultural way that represented both of our cultures. And then when She's the Boss, it's supporting ambitious female entrepreneurs to start and grow their business, because I didn't have anyone to help me when I started the first business. So it's kind of all come full circle. So thank you for giving me that, as it says, the aha moment, because actually it really does make sense. So you said one of the platforms that you started didn't necessarily work. And one of the key things that you always hear is this idea of failing forward and learning from your mistakes. How did you deal with that kind of, I don't want to say failure, but I can't think of failure. How did you move forward from that, and what were the lessons or the key lesson that you learned? You kind of said that you weren't ready, so I suppose that is the lesson. But how did you deal with it?
So basically, I started this platform, and obviously I didn't know, I didn't have the vision for it. I think that was the issue. I didn't have the vision for it. I didn't know where it was going, what it was supposed to do, what exactly the problem it was supposed to solve. So obviously I didn't even know myself, like how to go through the platform, how to make it a real platform. It was kind of still in my mind, and I was trying to put it out, but there was not a plan behind it. There was no plan, to be honest. So when it didn't work, I didn't really took it like that deeply, because at the end of the day, I didn't even know where that platform was supposed to go. But what I'll say is that like that taught me that obviously before starting a business, you kind of need to have a structure going on. You kind of need to know, first of all, what is the problem that I'm trying to solve? What is the result that I'm trying to provide? What is the impact that I'm trying to make? So those are definitely things that you need to have in mind, and also have a vision. Like, that's so important. I think that platform failed because none of this was there. Maybe there was a kind of idea, those kind of ideas that maybe come overnight, because I'm like the queen of implementing like straight away. I have an idea overnight, the next day I'm doing it already. Yeah. So I think like with experience, that's also something that I learned. You don't have to always rush to implementation. Think about it, like go deeper into it. So I think that's something I learned as well, like to think deeper on a deeper level about my ideas, what I want to do, to brainstorm more around it.
Well, that kind of is a segue nicely into the final question, which is a woman sitting at home. She really wants to go into business, or she's in the early stages of business and is wondering what she's supposed to do. What 3 pieces of advice would you give to her?
Okay, this is a good one. I like this one because first of all, I like working with like women that are starting up. The first advice will be mindset. Work on your mindset. Develop that entrepreneurial mindset, that growth mindset. This is very important. If you want to go into business and you have that mindset that I can't do it, I don't like, even that mindset that you're not willing to learn to do something, I believe that you should rethink about going to business, because when you go into business, mindset is so important, especially having a growth mindset, understanding that you're going to go through failures, you're going to find obstacles, but it's all a learning process, and you're always going to learn from it, push into it, and then do better. You're going to grow from it. So understanding that you have to develop a growth mindset. Obviously, we all have a fixed mindset, and we're trying to work on having more growth moments. But the thing is that you really need to be open to it. You need to be coachable to train your mind to have that kind of mindset. But first of all, that would be the first thing, mindset. The second thing will be more about business. So it's obviously learning skills, being open to learn the skills. We say that you don't have to know everything about business before you get into business. You don't have to go to school to go into business. You don't have to have a degree to get into business, but you need to be open to learn the skills to be in business. So if you're not open to learn the skills, you can't have a business, to be honest. Because where are you going to go? The skills that you have right now are not going to allow you to have a business, to have a profitable business at least. Yeah, you can start a business at any time, but to have a profitable business, you need to learn the skills that industry requires. And the third one is to be always there, ask for help. Ask for help. If you don't ask, you don't get. This is my thing right now. Ask and you will get. A lot of times on Instagram, people are like, oh, I always want to go like and have an interview on a podcast. And I'm just like, did you ask anyone? Like, if someone comes and asks me, I'll be like, yeah, sure, let me know. Why do you want to be on the podcast? What is the value that you want to provide? Like, just ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. Always remember.
No, I love that advice.
There are many tips that I would say, but sometimes they always vary. But I think the main ones are always have the mindset, be open to learn the skills, and ask for help when you need it. And ask for things when you need them. Like, ask for them. What's the worst thing that can happen? You get a no.
It's funny because I the person you were speaking of was me. I'm like, I want to go on podcast. Nobody's asking me to go on the podcast. What do I do? And I was like, why don't I just ask people if they'll have me on their podcast? It's really not that complicated. No, so it's true. I love that advice. If people want to find out more about you, about your business, what platforms can they find you on?
Okay, you can connect with me at Shewin's Mastermind on Instagram or Fathiya.site. But also make sure you just go to shewinsmastermind.com and message me from there. It's actually fine. And I can't really wait to connect with all of you because, connection is the way.
Amen. Yes, for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I've really enjoyed our conversation a lot. And I hope you watching and listening have also. Please, as usual, make sure you write a comment if there's anything that has resonated with you in this interview. And make sure that you go and follow She Wins Mastermind on social media, and also follow me on social media, and share. If there's anyone in your network that you think needs to hear this conversation, share it with them. And if you're a woman in business and you want to be featured, remember this thing about just ask. You don't even have to ask. You just need to get in touch. Email me at Daniela@she'sthebossintl.com. And I will join you again next week, Sunday at 8 o'clock for another She's the Boss Female Entrepreneur Story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fathia. Thank you.
Thank you so
for
much.
joining us.